Hello there. How's it going? Welcome to Breakfast All Day. I am Christy, and that is Alonso. And we're excited about this. We're talking about West Side Story. I've had all of these songs in my head for days, days. Right. We're gonna snap and we're gonna dance around the streets to tell you about this movie. But I've had various songs in my head. Alonso, which West Side Story have you had in your head most of all?
Oh man, it has varied. I have like America moments, and then I'll have when you're a jet, and they come and go. It's one of the indelible scores of the American musical theater.
I have Maria a lot.
That's a good one too.
That gets stuck in my head. Anyway, so this is Spielberg's West Side Story.
Yeah.
And it's different.
It is. He and Tony Kushner obviously love the original movie, and there's a lot that they clearly have an "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" attitude about certain parts of it, and then other things are like, well, we could maybe move some things around, or reassign some songs, or change the order of the songs, or maybe tell you a little more about these characters that maybe Arthur Laurents didn't quite go deeply enough into that he might have. And but yeah, so it's West Side Story. You know exactly what this is. It's Maria, and it's Tony, and it's the Sharks, and it's the Jets, and it's Romeo and Juliet, but it's playing out in the slums of New York in the 1950s as they are being literally demolished around the characters to make room for Lincoln Center and luxury high-rise apartments that the current residents of the neighborhood will never be able to afford. But nonetheless, two gangs are fighting a turf war for this territory. The Sharks, who are Puerto Ricans who are fairly new in New York City, versus the Jets, who are white guys who are of Polish, Italian, or Irish extraction. As I said in my review, it's a brief history of who in America got to not be considered white and then got to be considered white, because that's a thing that happened. And of course, Maria falls in love with Tony, and everything falls apart from there. So yeah, this is, I think, a really thrilling adaptation. I mean, Janusz Kaminski is just like shooting the shit out of it. Amazing angles, a great color palette that really calls to mind like old Technicolor and old Kodachrome, like when we think of photos from the 50s. The casting, a lot of really great period faces. Like, remember when we talked about the Master, early on, when Joaquin Phoenix is taking those photographs of families or whatever in the department store, and they just look like they stepped right out of 1947. This is like looking through an old Life magazine.
Mike Faist, who plays Riff.
Yes. For sure.
Looks like somebody who actually is from that era.
Absolutely. And a lot of the Jets too. And then, Ariana DeBose plays Anita, and I think she's the MVP here. She's extraordinary. She was previously in Ryan Murphy's Prom. And then, Rita Moreno is back. This time she plays the widow. She's Valentina. She's the widow of Doc, who is Doc's drugstore is sort of the neutral ground of this turf war, although the Jets do hang out there, and it's where Tony works. And she gets one of the songs, which I know you were not crazy about that reassignment. And I don't know if we want to give away what that is or not, but I thought I was okay with it. For me, this is pretty much a home run, with the notable exception of Ansel Elgort. I think he is kind of a void in the middle of this movie as Tony. He is not charismatic. He is not as dynamic as all the performers around him. But in the original, Richard Beymer, also not necessarily a house on fire. So like, you don't have to have a real charismatic Tony for this material to work. And so I'd say this still works.
Richard Beymer is a 4-alarm blaze compared to Ansel Elgort. My
also
God.
True.
So this is thrilling and sweeping and lush, and it feels substantial, and it does transport you. It's like it simultaneously contemporizes the material in some really important ways. Like a lot of it is in Spanish. A lot of it is in Spanish without subtitles. Yo entendí todo porque hablo español, but you don't have to. Right. I think it's implicit as to what they're saying, but it gives it a lot more authenticity as to what their daily lives and conversations were like, in terms of exploring what their immigrant experience was like in this place and time.
Or life in New York City in general, I would imagine. You probably hear a lot of languages over the course of any given day.
Yeah. So I liked that change. Placing it in the middle of Lincoln Center being built is an interesting choice and sort of a nice homage to all of the great all the great music that comes from that part of New York City, certainly.
Sure.
But they move some songs around and they give people different songs to sing, and they have characters sing different songs in different places. And all this stuff was fresh in my mind because I literally just rewatched the original West Side Story like that afternoon. Like you and I met up that night. I was so happy to see you and give you a hug. I got to see you in person at the Fox lot for West Side Story, and that was really nice. But it was all fresh in my mind. So I'm like, wait, that song doesn't come in yet. That song comes in later. And wait, she doesn't sing that song. Someone else does that song. But I don't want to, part of me almost wants to do like a spoiler edition of West Side Story, which is crazy because as you said, it's West Side Story. There's a song that Rita Moreno gets to sing, and her presence here is so lovely and such a fantastic homage to the original. And, we saw it right after Sondheim died. So that part is melancholy about it too. But you have a performer of the presence and the legacy and just the formidability of Rita Moreno, and you give her a song, and then they cut away from it like at 3 different times during the song to other stuff that's happening in the story that A, is not nearly as interesting, and B, we don't really need to see. It's a very strange editing choice that really takes away from the warmth and like the cocoon-like vibe of being in that room with her when she sings the song.
So it's not that she gets the song you objected to, it's the way that it's mounted around her, basically.
Yeah. I also think that song being sung by other people makes more sense in the context of what's happened. I see how they changed the context of the song. I think it makes more sense the way it was ordinarily.
Look, I think both work. I would have been perfectly fine if they had done it exactly, done things in the order and coming out of the mouths of what we expected. But none of the choices to make changes clanged for me, I guess. Like they all seemed like, okay, well that works. I see what we're doing here. And I guess you could say that other song kind of puts a capper on that bit of business, so we don't necessarily have to bring it up again. Like there was nothing in it that like just flat out didn't work for me. I was okay with pretty much all of it. I mean, obviously they should have just had Taylor Swift come in and write a new song in the hopes of getting an Oscar nomination, but
I want CGI cat butts. That's what I want. So we've not said the word Rachel Zegler yet. She is a freaking superstar, and she is adorable. And yet this enormous voice comes out of her. She's charismatic as hell. The camera loves her. She's actually doing her own singing.
Yeah. She came to like an open casting call with like 2 songs ready to go. And I'll tell you, like she sings, she knows how to hit the parts of One Hand, One Heart, that one too. But I Have a Love. That will just rip your guts out. And so when she and Anita are going back and forth in the A Boy Like That, I Have a Love, the I Have a Love half was just like, whoa, I like that hit me with a real, emotional sledgehammer.
Yeah. Plus she has to pretend that she's in love with Ansel Elgort.
That's acting. But I'll tell you, for me, best part of the whole film is the America number, which they have moved from a nighttime rooftop to daytime in the streets. So now the women in the film get that literal real estate in the middle of the streets of New York, the way the Sharks and Jets normally do as well. And it's electrifying, that musical number. I just thought it was, and here's the thing. So many contemporary musicals have been so lacking because there's so much editing, and you don't really get the sort of full array of what the choreography is doing. And Spielberg, being Spielberg, like knows how to do this in an old-fashioned way, and not old-fashioned the bad way, old-fashioned in the good way, as a craftsman, to really let these songs and dances play out in a way that is just visually thrilling.
America it's stunning. And yeah, you're right. He like lets them take over like giant blocks of real estate to do the song and dance. And you feel so swept up in it. And the meaning of the song catches hold more because of it. And yeah, Ariana DeBose is a freaking superstar, gigantic shoes to fill, and playing Anita, she gets to act opposite Rita Moreno at one point, which I'm
Yeah.
sure was totally freaking daunting.
Like
But
one of her biggest scenes she has to do in front of the woman who won an Academy Award for playing it. So,
and she's got incredible charisma and poise and confidence. So she's going to be great. David Alvarez is very good in this as Bernardo. But like Ansel Elgort, I keep going back to it. I know, like he's so boring. It's kind of cute that he's super tall and she's really petite, whatever. He can sing fine, but I just can't imagine the vast number of musical theater stars who could have come in with the requisite talent and charisma and personality.
Exactly.
It's not like he's a giant star of the level of like, I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio or Timothée Chalamet, someone like that. It's
you're not selling this movie on the name Ansel Elgort.
And you're also, they took chances on actors who were well known in these big roles. And so that's why I'm like, why is Ansel Elgort going to be the one to sell your movie here? Anyway, it's a big reason why my number is what it is. Anyway.
I would have, they could have cast Alden Ehrenreich.
Right. Would it were so simple.
Indeed. Exactly.
And anyway, so it's if you want to go to the movie theater and see a movie, this is a movie. When Tony and Maria meet at the dance, the way Janusz Kaminski lights it, it's like an alien spaceship is landing in that dingy gym.
Yeah. But seriously, like there are these up angles from like the alleys and stuff that feel so like oh, this is a 60s movie. Like I forgot you could do that from this angle of the camera, but at the same time it is so sort of like just bracingly thrilling. It never feels like this sort of ossified museum piece. They've taken this property that has been around for so long and has endured like not only one classic movie but countless high school productions, and it makes it feel like a thing you haven't seen before.
Anyway, so I'll say 7.5.
Okay, I gave it a 9. Even not even Ansel Elgort could spoil it for me. I had a blast. So
okay, so that is an 8.3.
Okay,
right?
Yes.
7.5 plus 9.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
anyway, so go enjoy it. It is a good, big, splashy family movie, and it's you'll enjoy.
I mean, look, if you're not going to theaters, totally get it, but if you are, this is a theatrical experience for sure, and it won't be the same to watch at home. So if you're feeling it, this is a place to to take that moment to go back into a theater, because it merits it.
There's a place for us, Alonso.
Somewhere. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, check us out on social media at BeFastAllDay, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Go to Instagram at BeFastAllDay to see Christy and me hug at the West Side Story screening, and check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. We're talking about TV. You get videos like this with no ad interruption and lots of other fun stuff, so check that out. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.